Hello, everyone. How is it going? So, I know a lot of people were asking about the intro there, asking about the music. I'm not 100% sure where all the music comes from. There is this collection on YouTube. It's called 1 Hour of Sad Nintendo Music. I don't know why it's called sad, because not all of that music is sad per se, but it obviously is beautiful music, and that's why I wanted to play it. So, in fact, the people that loved the intro back screen with the moving fog across the Temple of Time, that was actually the video itself did that. So I'm like, that looks really cool. So let's use that for an intro. That being said, welcome to the live stream, everyone. I hope you're having an awesome day. Let me get myself a little reorganized here with my windows across my monitors here. How you guys doing? I actually really like that intro. Might use that more often, or use intros similar to that. That being said, how's it going? Welcome to This Week in Review, our first This Week in Review of 2019. This Week in Review, currently anyways, is a bi-weekly Sunday night live stream. And what it does is it looks back at some of the biggest news from the past week, kind of like what Prime News does on Fridays. However, obviously news over the weekend or videos I made over the weekend are included in this, and we get direct feedback from you guys. So what happens is I bring up the topic, I give some thoughts on the topic, I introduce it, and then I toss it out to you guys to ask questions and start a conversation. And then once we go through all of the topics that I have already pre-selected, we just do a general Q&A for the rest of the stream. So, welcome. For starters, I want to say, hey, you want to know why people are so excited that notifications are going out? Did you know? Here's a fun fact. This is my 5th live stream over the last 3 days. How many of you knew that? How many of you knew that it was my 5th live stream? Probably not many, because all of my live streams before this one since Friday were not being sent to notifications, and we're not appearing in sub feeds. So maybe it's working now. I don't know. We have 30 people watching, 32 people watching, so it must be working. But whatever. There was actually a live stream I did last night where I streamed for an hour straight. 1 hour straight with 0 people watching. 0 people watching. Now, granted, I didn't tweet out the stream. I didn't put it on the Discord server. But 0 people watched for an hour. Not even one person tuned in. Why? Because it wasn't in the subfeed and notifications were not going out. YouTube is aware of this problem. I have made them aware several times. I have gotten my MCN involved in the whole ordeal. They're using all of their contacts. There are multiple YouTubers that have had this issue. Super Metal Dave was having this issue. So Obi-Wan, if anyone knows the Obi-Wan Plays channel, they were having this issue as well. It seems to really be impacting smaller YouTubers more so than the big boys. Bob Wolf and from Wolf Den and like all those other channels, they seem like Spawnwave did his Spawncast last night. Didn't seem to have any issues, but myself and other YouTubers of my size were having a lot of issues with sub notifications not going out. So people that even hit the bell icon weren't being notified, and then not even appearing in the sub feed, which is supposed to give you every video from every channel you are subbed from and all live streams at the top of the feed. So whatever, maybe it's fixed, maybe it's not. I don't know. Let's just stop worrying about that for now and pray it works throughout the rest of the week. Let's get into This Week in Review. And the first topic we have is about YouTube burnout. So I did a video how many days ago? Let me double check here. How many days ago did I put out my YouTube burnout video? Was it yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday, or was it? Let me see here. Let me get this correct. No, it was a couple days ago. So I put out the YouTube burnout video 2 days ago, and I focused mostly on the younger YouTubers, people like CND, who publicly said he doesn't want to be called CND anymore, but whatever. Alex, I talked about Mason of Delfino, who is a friend of mine, and briefly kind of brought Etika into the mix, although Etika's kind of older. Of course, he's only 4 years younger, 4 or 5 years younger than me, so he's not necessarily part of like the super young group. But I want to talk about YouTube burnout in general, and what YouTube burnout is. And what YouTube burnout is just like burnout in anything. It's just burnout in general. You can get burned out in many things in life. All burnout really means is that you are overwhelmed with the amount of stress and the amount of effort put into things in your life that you basically emotionally break down. That's all being burnout, like being burned out means. You can get burned out as a parent. You can get burned out at your job. That's the most common way people get burned out. You can get burned out at life. You can get burned out with your parents. That's why some people stop talking to their parents for years at a time. There's various ways to get burned out. On YouTube, usually the burnout happens, and this is kind of the way I've always seen YouTube burnout happen. People, not only are they working hard, but what happens is a lot, especially, this doesn't just happen with younger YouTubers, by the way. I know the video focused on younger YouTubers, but I want to talk about this in a broader spectrum. What happens when people first join YouTube is they usually don't join YouTube, they might try to make money, but they don't really know what's going to happen. They don't know if they're going to make money. They start with 0 subscribers, and you go from there. And what happens is, as the channel grows and they start making these videos out of their love and their passion for whatever they're talking about, Nintendo, video games, technology, makeup, cooking, whatever it happens to be, they're making these passionate videos. Maybe they're daily vloggers, whatever. And what happens is they eventually, they grow and they get bigger and they get bigger and they get bigger. And all of a sudden they start to make significant money on every video they make. And then it gets to a point where they are making enough money that they don't need to actually have a normal everyday job. So then they start to say, well, YouTube is my job. Cool. So I'm just going to do YouTube. I'm going to make these videos I love to make for money because why wouldn't I? It's what I do. So I want to be very transparent here. I work YouTube as a job. This is my only, well, not my only job, but this is my primary job. This is the job that I make a majority of my income from every single month. So I am one of those people. Started making nothing. Now I'm making enough money to try to do this full time. Now, that being said, what happens from that point moving forward is that, okay, now we're doing YouTube for a job, so I should make more videos. I should look at what's trending in my field. So if everyone right now is talking about the new Soulja Boy console, I should talk about the new Soulja Boy console because it's going to get me 2,000 to 3,000 views, which is, a pretty decent video for me. And if I get over 3,000 views on a video, that's a good video for me. So sure, I should talk about that because everyone else is talking about that. I should make videos on this. I should make videos on that. I should make videos on a whole bunch of different stuff surrounding what I do, even if I don't care. Why? Because the audience expects it, because maybe you've covered this topic before, and you're worried about viewership. You want to keep raising the bar, raising your viewership, raising your sub count, making more money, maintaining the money you're making while making more money. Sometimes you'll sell out to sponsors. And I'm not saying if you get sponsors, you're selling out, but like you're starting to do sponsored videos without disclosing that the videos are sponsored, blah, 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 blah. You start making all of this video content, and slowly but surely it goes from something you were passionate about as a hobby to something you are just doing for the money. And that's what happens with YouTubers. Now, I said specifically it affects younger YouTubers more, but it can affect older YouTubers as well. So like Alex is an example, perfect example. He was making YouTube videos for fun. He was being sincere about his love of video games, his love of Nintendo, his love of his Nintendo collection. Then he did the Switch Line thing. And from the Switch Line thing moving forward, he got really popular. His channel has, 370,000 plus people following it. And he would quit, he quit his job. He quit college. He quit everything. He just did YouTube. And in doing that, he felt like he needed to get daily content out when he wasn't making daily content before. He thought, well, now it's my job. I need to make daily content. I need to have daily vlogs. I need to do this. Okay, I waited in line for the Switch. What am I going to wait in line for next? What am I going to do? Oh, I went to New York. Those videos were popular in New York. When am I going to go back to New York? Oh, I should buy an RV so I can go to all these other things. And all of this was partially things he wanted to do, but also partially things he thought his audience wanted from him. He did these things more so to maintain his revenue and maintain the growth of his channel as this wholesome Nintendo vlogging channel than he did to necessarily make himself happy. So what happened is he burned out. He burned out entirely. It happened before even this year. His video content's massively slowed down. He's selling off he's trying to. eBay has shut down his thing twice, but he's trying to sell off huge chunks of his Nintendo collection. And I know some of the collection, he's got so much that, he lives in a smaller apartment in New York, so he probably needs more space. So I guess that's one reason to get rid of it. But none of it is because he's already talked about this before. He's not as into Nintendo as he used to be. And that's fine. I mentioned in my video, he's growing up. People are growing up. Their interests change. And when you're so successful in one thing, sometimes you feel like you should do that one thing. I could use a real life example here. I'm really good at a lot of things. I'm not trying to brag. I can't help it. Everything I've ever really done in life, when it comes to a job or a career, I've been good at. I've been really, really good at roofing. I've been really, really good at doing water care and working on people's water softeners and water neutralizers, even fixing broken pipes along the way when you have to do that in the field. I've been really good at programming. I've been really good at customer service, even at jobs like McDonald's. I was like the best fry cook, one of the best sandwich makers, one of the best grill people, and one of the best people in drive-through multitasking like crazy, taking orders, taking money. Like some of the annoying things when you go through drive-through at fast food and like they're sitting here like this, taking someone's order and ignoring you and not doing money. I'd be able to do both at once. It wasn't a problem. I was really good at all of this stuff. I was really good at running ZeldaInformer.com. I was really good at building a Facebook page from nothing to 840,000 likes, even though I had no experience doing it. And now I actually don't think I'm that great at YouTube, but I know I have gone from being garbage at YouTube, if I look at videos I made like 8 years ago, to where I am today, where now my videos, I'm proud of some of them. I'm proud of this live stream. I'm proud of you guys watching. And I know that I have not just gotten here because I work hard, but because I have a multifaceted skill set. I'm just really skilled at a lot of different things. And I don't know why. I think it's because I have a higher IQ, so I just pick up on things faster. But that doesn't always explain why you're handy. So whatever. The point is, I've been really good at a lot of things. I have made more money doing other things. I was a junior technical assistant, a salary job with a 401k and full coverage health insurance where my deductible was only like $1,000 a year for my entire family. Really cheap. I was doing awesome. But I hated the job. I hated it. All of these jobs I'm talking about, as good as I was at them, I hated them. I was never happy. I never wanted to go to work. I was doing it all for the money. Every job along the way was for the money. And because I'm good at it, so I should just do it, right? In college, getting good grades. Doing it because I'm good at it. Right? Like you find those things, like a lot of people in life, you're trying to find that thing you're good at, and that's what you do. That's fine for a lot of people. But I'm good at a lot of things. I just don't enjoy like 90% of it. So YouTube was kind of this thing that I didn't know I wanted to do. Last year, not last year, the year before, in 2017, I was running NintendoPrime.net. It was kind of my successor to Zelda Informer, blah, 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 blah. And I was just kind of doing that as a hobby. I had other full-time jobs and all this stuff. And then I started making YouTube videos again, and then I started kind of realizing the more and more YouTube videos I was making for Nintendo Prime, the more I was actually really enjoying making the videos. I was enjoying the editing process and learning new tricks. I was enjoying the camera process and learning different camera techniques, how to make things better, how to make myself in the forefront blurry or the background blurry, myself in focus, have it not have to autofocus all the time. Something I learned recently, getting better with the lighting. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed talking about Nintendo. Really enjoy that. Really enjoy giving my thoughts, my opinions, reporting on news. I love doing that. I love creating the original content. I love these live streams. The more I kept doing it, the more I realized this isn't just like a hobby for me anymore. Like, people do things for hobbies to have fun. I played video games for fun. That was my hobby. But creating YouTube videos wasn't really about a hobby for me. Creating YouTube videos, from the moment I started doing it daily, or it was 3 times a week and then it became daily, it became a source of inspiration. It became a source of, holy crap, out of all of the things I've done in my life that I've made money from, now that I'm making a little bit of money on YouTube, I really enjoy this. At the time, my channel had, 18,000 subs. And I'm like, I'm really enjoying this. I love what I'm doing. Why don't I try to do something with this and make this my long-term career goal? And that's where we are today. Fast forward a couple years, and here I am trying to make it, as of 2019, kind of forced into it because I lost one of my other jobs. I'm trying to make this my career, and if you want to help me make it my career, patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. You guys are basically the reason I'm able to do this. But the thing is, I never really felt any burnout. I never really got to that burnout phase. Because why would I? I finally found the thing I'm passionate about, found the thing I enjoy doing, and found the thing that I'm passionate about, enjoy doing, and I make money from it. Why would I not want to make that my career? And why would I not want to keep getting better? Why would I not want to put out more and more of it? Like today, I didn't put out one standalone video. You know how disappointed I am in myself that I didn't put out one standalone video? But you want to know why I didn't put out one standalone video? For the same reason that I don't want to get burned out. I didn't put out a standalone video because I didn't feel passionate enough about any of the given topics I had at the time to make a video about. I could have talked about the Soulja Boy console. I could have made a video complaining about YouTube and my live streams. I could have made a video about a zillion things. But I wasn't passionate about any of it, so why would I waste my time to make that video? That's how you get to burnout. When you're just making the video because you feel like you need to make a video for that day. I'm like, no, I have the This Week in Review stream tonight. That's just going to have to be good enough. I have other videos in the works, right? I've got 2 game reviews in the works, so I had other things to do, play games, spend time with my kids. It was my grandfather's birthday today. He turned 75. Woohoo, happy birthday, Grandpa. So I had other things going on, but I was going to get a video out, and I'm like, none of these topics I'm interested in. That's what leads to burnout, is when you start to make videos because you feel like you need to make them, not because you care. So one thing I always say about my channel is every video that goes out, even if you don't like the topic, even if you don't like my opinion on the topic, even if you think it's lazy content, chances are whatever that topic is exactly what I wanted to talk about in that moment. Because I won't make a video if I don't want to talk about it. It's pretty simple. Even like there's certain news stories I haven't covered because they didn't really interest me. Now, there are times you'll go outside of your comfort zone and you'll cover something just because your fan base cares about it a lot. There's certain Nintendo games that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, but I know that people care about it, and since I enjoy the process of editing videos and getting information out to people, I'll still make that video because there's still some enjoyment to be had, and the video's not being forced. I'll even say in the video, like, hey, look, I'm not like the biggest fan of this, but I know it's a big deal. Smash Bros. Was one of those games. I'm not like a massive Smash fan. Of course, I bought it. Well, I didn't buy it. It was bought for me by OJ, but of course I was going to buy the game eventually. Like, yeah, I enjoy Smash Bros., but I'm not like a huge Smash fan. But I know it's a big deal, so I covered it, and I enjoyed doing the coverage of that. Sometimes it's okay to go outside your comfort zone, but it's not okay to force a video just to have a video. So that's what was happening with a lot of these younger YouTubers, and it happens with a lot of people. Etika forcing streams out the door. Other people just forcing things because they feel like they need to do it. They need to maintain their revenue. They need to maintain their relevancy. They need to maintain their popularity. And through all of this, they're not worrying about themselves and their own mental health and their own happiness. YouTube makes me happy. My fiance, there's basically 4 things. I guess I got 4 pillars in my life to my happiness. There's my fiance. She is a massive key to my heart, key to my world. Without her, none of the rest of the happiness can happen. So there's her. Then there's my kids, right? Obviously, my kids can be frustrating. They can be stressful. They can make life a lot harder than it needs to be. But I couldn't live my life without them. I don't know what I would do if I ever lost one of my kids. I have 3 of them, and as frustrating as they can be, as much as they might even get in the way of this job at times, gosh, I love them to death. And they will always, my fiance and my kids will always come before anything. All right? Then there is my friends and family. And I don't have a lot of friends, so that's why I can put my friends and family in the same category. Because I basically have Eric. You guys know Eric from the Nintendo Prime podcast. He is basically my only true friend. And he's like a brother to me. So that's why I can put him in the conversation. He means just as much to me as my sister, as my parents, as my grandparents, etc. They can make me happy too because they're family. Do I need to explain how family and friends can make you happy? And talking to them and hanging out with them and life advice and blah 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 blah. Even though they can also be stressful. Family can be stressful. Like my mother specifically not approving of my job here on YouTube. She hates that I'm a YouTuber. Not exactly an inspiration for what I do. But you know what? It's okay. My mom doesn't understand this stuff. It's not a big deal. The 4th pillar is my job. This pillar never existed before, by the way. It used to just be those 3 pillars, and you just do whatever you need to do to survive. I'm lucky enough that I have that fourth pillar where I love this job. So I look forward to this job every day. I go out of my way to make time for this job. I maybe become a workaholic because of this job. When you find something you love and you're passionate about, you tend to find more and more time to do it. For all of 2019, I've been putting in 80-hour weeks. Part of that's because I lost my other job, so I'm trying to increase my content output. Another part of it is just because I really enjoy the job. It's so enjoyable. I walk into this office, and outside of the fact that sometimes I let it get a little too messy because I'm so focused on making content, I'm so focused on editing, I'm not focused, like I have a bag of pretzels here, like the thing is, part of me is like, is that bag of pretzels still going to be sitting there 3 weeks from now? Because I'm so focused on the content that I'm not worried about maintaining the space in here. And I work by myself, so I don't have to worry about others being in here. But, give you a prime example. This is from yesterday. Look at this. Look at this. This is disgusting. It's a plate of noodles, butter noodles with some Parmesan cheese. Well, some light Parmesan cheese, just like a sprinkle of it. And then some garlic powder. Very simple meal. The plate's still sitting here from last night. I am going to throw it out now that I just saw it, but whatever. The point is that you get so focused on what I'm doing that I don't take care of the rest of the stuff in this room. The rest of the house, oh, absolutely. Once I walk out of that door, I got my children to worry about. I've got a zillion things to worry about. I got a house to maintain. I got bills to pay, whatever. But when I come in here, this is kind of like an all workspace, kind of a happy zone for me because I love this work. So when people burn out, I get it. I understand it because I was like that with basically every other job I've had in my life. I did the work to make the money, not because I cared about doing the work. I was good at said work, so I made good money. But I hated it, and I burned out on it quick, but I forced myself to do it like so many do because they need the money. I get burned out being a parent. I'm not going to be ashamed. I'm not going to lie about that. Being a parent is hard. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, is knowing that there are 3 little lives, like little people in my life that I am not solely responsible for, but responsible for what kind of people they become. Ultimately, they make their own choices and their own mistakes and all that stuff, but a lot of that is based on how they're raised, and I'm a huge part of that. So it's one of the most stressful things ever. One of the most joyous things ever, but also one of the most stressful things. And I absolutely get burned out as a parent. Tonight, my kids had leftovers. I don't like to do leftovers very often. The leftovers were pretty good. It was like teriyaki chicken with some vegetables and some rice. And we had, let me see, some of those Hawaiian buns you can buy at like Walmart or whatever. One bun each, and then they had some fruit. So we had like a really nice meal, but it was all leftovers that was just pieced together from different meals we've had. And it's because I didn't want to cook. I was lazy. I did not want to cook. That was supposed to be for my dinner tomorrow. I split my dinner or my lunch tomorrow for work. I split my lunch up between my kids and said, you know what? You guys have it. Dad'll just have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Because I didn't want to cook because I'm stressed. I'm like, I just want to get you guys fed. I want to get you guys in your bath. I want to get you dressed, brush your teeth, and get you in bed because I'm ready to be done today. I'm ready for you guys to finally be asleep. And if you're a parent, you understand how that feels. So you could absolutely get burned out as a parent too. But, just because you're burned out doesn't mean that you can stop. Because again, bills got to get paid. Kids got to be taken care of. They got to be ready for school tomorrow. You think I want to get up tomorrow morning and get my kids off on the school bus? No, man, I want to sleep in. But I have to. Because that's like a requirement of being a parent. I got to do these things. So you push through, but you're still burned out. So again, I understand why people get burned out. I understand that it can happen in anything. It doesn't have to be just someone like me who's working a zillion things or has a lot going on in his life. It could be anyone. The bit block down there, maybe he gets burned out on YouTube. It just happens. Burnout is a thing that can happen in anything in life. It's just more associated with work. That being said, do you guys have any questions about YouTube burnout before we move on to the next topic? Anything you guys want to talk about? I just spent a long time there, a good 20 minutes or so going off about the topic because I wanted to wrap all of my thoughts about it into one. Hopefully that was cohesive. Hopefully it was one cohesive thought process that it all made sense. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. JM says, do you skip showers and meals to make content? No. Meals, yes. Showers, no. The one nice thing about being an on-camera personality, so like here I am on camera, is like I can't look like garbage. I cannot shave that day, but I can't look like garbage. So I have to shower every day. So even if I didn't want to, it wouldn't matter. I have to do it. I got to shower. I got to take a bath, whatever. Where's the Giannis jersey? It's over there still. If I move the camera a bit, see, it's right there. I just don't have my Nintendo Prime jacket up right now because, well, the red one's right there, right behind me, and the blue one, I think the blue one's upstairs. I wore it for something the other day. Let's see here. Raikuchenda says, my brother said as much as he loves his son, he sometimes regrets becoming a father because of the pressure of being responsible day in and day out. I don't know that I go as far as to say I regret being a father of 3, but there's definitely times when you are like at your boiling point. You're ready to explode at your kids. You're ready to explode as a person. You just need to scream and swear and cuss and just get everything out. But you can't do that in front of your kids, and some parents will still let it out because we can't help it. I understand why it happens. I'm not going to say I'm perfect and that I've never yelled at my kids and that I've never swore in front of my kids. I'm not going to pretend I'm some perfect amalgamation of parenthood here. But I don't know that I've ever regretted, but I've definitely gotten to that point where, you get those fleeting thoughts that like, man, I really wish I didn't have to see my kids for like the next week or so. Like, you get those moments where you just need a break, right? You need that break. And unfortunately, as a parent, oftentimes just because you need a break doesn't mean you're going to get one. And usually I don't. I have family that help watch the kids. Rarely do I not have a kid in this house. My mother, she is picking up Aiden after school this upcoming Friday, right? She's picking him up and taking him overnight, so she's going to have him most of the day Saturday too. I still have my daughter and my youngest son here. So one's gone, but I still have 2 more, so what's it matter if you throw another one in? Heck, throw 4, 5, 6 more kids in here. Does it really matter at this point? Does it really matter? If they're not all gone, it doesn't matter. But I don't regret having kids. I love my children. It's just, I understand where you can get those feelings from. You always get those feelings of, I'm just done. I'm so done. I'm done. Done. But you still push through and you do it anyways. And eventually you get over that feeling and you get back to being happy and everything's all okay. Like it just sucks because, we don't get like from YouTube. If I get stressed with YouTube, I can take a break. I could just stop and go get another job. But YouTube doesn't stress me out. I love this, man. I got 60 plus people watching me here on a Sunday night. Talk about YouTube burnout right now. I mean, come on. What's not to like? The BitBlock says, I've been burned out many times, but it's my job, so I push through because I like having my electricity on. See, that's another thing. A lot of people, when they get burned out, they still do it because they got to pay bills. I don't get burned out by this because I enjoy it too much. But, again, I've been there with a lot of other jobs. I am lucky enough to have found the job that makes me happy and I can make money doing it. So We'll see how this works out long haul. Obviously, push comes to shove. What I mentioned, my job happiness was the last on my 4-prong list of happiness. So that's because that is the thing that can be sacrificed for the other 3 prongs in my life. So, my happiness at work can be sacrificed for them. So I can go get a different job if I have to and not be happy as long as it makes them happy. Mike McLeod says, parenting is the hardest job ever. Until you experience it, you would never understand it. But as hard as it is, you can have no greater love. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more pure than the love of a child. I mean, that's one thing too. Like, as much as I could say negative things about parenting, the love of a child that looks up to you, that relies upon you, that loves you unconditionally, like, despite the fact that you just yelled at your kid when they didn't really do anything that bad, but you just were over the top with your stress. And then 5 minutes later, that kid is hugging you and telling you how much they love you. Like, the amount of forgiveness a child can have in a moment like that, realizing that the parent is at a vulnerable point when they're so used to the parent being strong all the time. They never see a parent cry, but then it happens. And like, you feel bad about doing that in front of the kid, but then the kids are like, oh man, like, obviously, the parent needs this hug right now. It needs this kiss. It needs this love. And it's such a pureness to it that we don't really get as adults as much. I don't know why. I don't know why us as adults don't feel like that for others, and then try. Obviously, I don't expect you to come up and give me a kiss or something, but like we feel compassion when someone gets hurt physically, but when you can see they're emotionally exploding, we don't seem to sympathize as well, I guess is the best way to put it. Let's see here. Any other thoughts here on Burning Out? Aiden, Oliver. Aiden is my 5-year-old. Oliver is my 3-year-old, and Melody is the 8-year-old. She's the oldest and the only girl. Justin's from Milwaukee. Nice. Let's see here. Scrolling down. I could never handle having kids. I don't have the temperament for it. Yeah. I thought I was ready for kids, and then I had them. Apparently my nephews look at me as a loving mother figure. I'm anything but the amount of inner anger they generate within me sometimes makes me wonder how mothers truly feel. Oh my gosh. My fiance lets out her inner... Well, she leaves. She just leaves. Like if I'm home and she's really getting angry, she just leaves. She literally just gets in the car and drives away. Because of her depression, she is unable to hold that stuff in. And she's had moments where it's come out. And so, yeah, she just leaves. Almost more so probably for the protection of the kids than herself. Not that she's like dangerous for the kids or anything, but she'll say things she regrets and make them cry and blah blah blah. Anyways, all right, I think that's enough on YouTube Burnout. Doesn't seem to be a lot of people talking about the burnout things. Are more focused on the parenting and the emotional aspects of it. So let's move on to the next topic. And what do I have listed in the title? I guess let's go over the topics for that. All right, so SNES games on Switch. That was a big thing that happened late last night. I got a video out about it at like 1 a.m., 1:30, 2 a.m., something like that. The news actually landed a couple hours earlier, but I didn't see it until like about 1 a.m., and that's when I literally dragged myself out of bed, came downstairs, and like, all right, let's get this video done. Oh, soda, caffeine it up. All right, let's go. Guy has some energy for this. Anyway, so I got that video out the door. And for those who don't know, there was an update to the Nintendo Switch Online service. There was an update that came out specifically for the NES Online app. And in that update for the NES Online app, it contained a bunch of new stuff that wasn't there before. And it contained a listing of 22 Super Nintendo games, and then a listing for 4 emulators. Now, one of the emulators we already know is the NES one, because it's the exact same code name as they used for the NES Classic. The second emulator is the exact same code name that they used for the it's Canoe, by the way. It's the same code name they used for the emulator on the Super Nintendo Classic. So we know that that's the Super Nintendo emulator. And then there's 2 other mystery emulators that we're not sure what they are, because they don't have any correlation to anything that's currently out there, be it a fan-made emulator or an official Nintendo emulator on any other platform. So again, there's 2 other emulators on there for 2 other systems that we aren't sure what they're for, and then a listing of 22 games. This was all data mined out. This has been an interesting one to talk about, because I think it's awesome that we're getting 22 games. In fact, let's go over the list. Let me pull up the list of those 22 games quick. Where is my video on this so I can just grab that list quick? There it is. All right. Hey, look, there's an ad. My thing didn't get copyright claimed. Isn't that nice? That happens sometimes. All right, let's see here. Where is that list? It is down on this guy's Twitter a little bit. All right, here we go. Somewhere in here. So he... Well, I really hope he didn't delete the tweets. You know what? I think do I have an image of his tweets? I bet you I have an image of his tweets. Not that one. This one. Let me see if I can show you guys this image here. We'll move the camera this away. And we'll bring in this. All right. So this is the listing of the SNES games that were discovered in the files. We got Super Mario Kart, Super Soccer, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Demon's Crest, which is an interesting one. I don't know if we've ever even had that one on the Virtual Console before. Yoshi's Island, Stunt Race FX, Kirby's Dream Course, Poppin' Twinbee, Star Fox, Contra 3, Kirby Superstar, Super Ghosts and Ghouls, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Pilot Wings F-Zero, And then continue down here, Star Fox 2, which is a great addition since they put it on the SNES Classic. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring it to Switch. Super Punch-Out, The Legend of Mystical Ninja, Super Mario All-Stars, and Breath of Fire 2. So these are the SNES games that were in the files. A lot of presumptions. I presumed as well that these would be the launch games, because why would they be in the files already if they're not the launch games? But if they're not the launch games for the SNES and only like 15 of them are, whatever. The point is we know about 22 of the SNES games coming to Nintendo Switch later this year. Still don't know when or any of that stuff because this was all data mined. It wasn't officially announced. There's been a lot of thoughts on this. For starters, I think it's a really good list of games for starting for the SNES. I don't have an issue with the list. There's obviously games missing for me, like Secret of Mana, but it doesn't really matter. I'm personally not going to be playing the games, so it doesn't matter to me. But for those that are going to play it, I do think this is a pretty solid starting list, and then I'm assuming they're going to add 2 to 3 new ones per month like they do for NES, but time will tell on that. I think the interesting part about this, however, is some of the anger. Not angry at the list, but angry that we didn't know about this list. That we entered 2019, like, kind of, sort of, knowing, like, they've hinted that SNES games are going to come, but not really giving us any idea on when. And we found out what the list is, and now we know it'll be this year at some point because of data mining. It's really interesting. I got called entitled a lot for getting mad at Nintendo. That was a fun one. Being called entitled because I want to know what I'm paying for. I mean, or being called entitled because I criticized Nintendo's poor, what was it? Their poor, how did I phrase it? It was their poor way of communicating to fans. Yeah, they drop things when they want to drop it, but like they could communicate better. I think all of us can mostly agree Nintendo can do a better job communicating in general. Not just about the online service, but just across the board. They could probably do a little bit better. And like as an example, Reggie Fils-Aimé said that this Nintendo Switch Online service replaces Virtual Console, without explaining how it replaces Virtual Console. So instead of actually giving us any information, they just said, throw out this huge statement, it replaces Virtual Console. How? How is this replacing N64 games and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance? Like, how? How? No explanation. So, again, I always think that you should be able to criticize anything. You want to be critical of my channel, go for it. You want to be critical of Nintendo, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. All of my criticism I ever lobby at Nintendo is always done with the intent of making Nintendo better. At least a better that I see. I want Nintendo to communicate better. So in order to let them know I want them to communicate better, I have to let them know how they're communicating poorly. People are not going to like that sometimes. They don't like when you're critical. I love so much about the Switch. But this is one aspect of the Nintendo Switch Online service and their communication about it that I've been blasting for 2 years. And it hasn't gotten better. It's only gotten worse. So I'm glad the SNES games are coming. I don't know why they put them out in a system update for that app right now, knowing that data miners have the Switch hacked and are data mining everything. So Nintendo had to have known these games were going to get out. If they don't know, then I don't know. I don't know who's making these decisions that don't realize the stuff gets data mined. So I don't know. This is interesting. I'm glad these games are coming. Maybe you guys have some games you'd like to see. So maybe you guys can tell me some of the games you want to see. Do you have any questions about this news? Any questions about my thoughts about Nintendo's communication? Do you think I'm just dead wrong and I'm an idiot and I should just shut up and quit YouTube? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this. Let me see here. Raiko Chan wants Street Fighter 2, although we did get, a Switch exclusive of Street Fighter 2. It's not the original. Let's see here. Ultimate Keymaster says, if the NES Classic emulator is the same as the Nintendo Switch Online emulator for NES, does the Engage Ridley code still crash the games on NES Classic instead of making a super bugged first screen? That I don't know. I didn't even know about that thing at all, the Enrage Ridley code. So that's something that someone should probably go test. Let me see here. Most of your typical, of course, but Demon's Crest is a pretty big deal. Yeah, I think it was on the Wii VC. Demon's Crest was okay. See, I've bought a few games on Virtual Console, but ultimately these are games that I basically played a ton of already, and so I'm looking for new experiences rather than replaying old ones. But I get why people like replaying old games. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my cup of tea. Retro Cheat says, how many hours did you put into your Pro Controller? My theory is You do play games as often as me, and that's why your controllers are still fine. How many hours did I put into my Pro Controller? You must not be talking to me. My Pro Controller, I don't even have a Pro Controller right now. My Pro Controller was grinding, and it affected Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It wasn't drifting. I couldn't sprint in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 anymore. So I sold the controller. I mean, I feel bad for who's ever going to buy it. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. It worked fine in every other game. So as long as the person who bought that controller from GameStop doesn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they're probably not even going to notice there's a problem. But I was so frustrated with it. One day I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of not being able to sprint in Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm done. I'm done with this controller. I'm selling it. Nintendo, and I haven't bought a new one because I'm waiting for Nintendo to like make it better. So we'll see if they do. Yeah, my stream showed up in your sub box and recommended. That's awesome. Yeah, it did for everyone. Why do you think we have like 50 plus people watching like usual? Because it's working again. Well, hopefully it keeps working. Brandon the Stallion says, I'm actually getting Nintendo Switch Online for 2 years with the money I'm getting from my game trade-ins to Amazon. I'm also getting the Smash Ultimate Fighter Pass. Nice. I don't even have the Fighter Pass yet. I still have to contact Nintendo about why I haven't gotten my Piranha Plant code too. It's a little strange I haven't gotten that yet. So because I have the digital copy. Let's see here. Scrolling on down. I don't mind the list, but I hope it's not all the SNES games we're getting for the foreseeable future. No Secret of Mana or Earthbound at all would be a letdown. Yeah, I mean, I hope these are just the launch ones and we're going to get more. I hope these aren't like, we're going to get like 3 of them at launch and they're just going to trickle out the rest of these for the rest of the year. I mean, that would be totally a Nintendo thing to do. But I hope that's not what they do. I hope they've learned. But then again, you know, they still get a whole bunch of immense terrible feedback about their online service, and they don't seem to be changing anything. So, if the SNES does happen, you'll actually play the NES Classic app. Personally, I think we should have had SNES games from the get-go. I think a lot of people feel that way, and I don't think it's going to keep being called the NES app once the SNES stuff comes out. It might just be called like the Classics app or whatever, and then just put like, it'll right now we'll have like the NES and SNES controllers, and then like later the N64 or whatever they decide to add in. To be honest, I prefer Netflix like Virtual Console than the other one because I really never used the old DC. Okay, that's cool, Peter. I look really green, Bucks, eh? Darn right. They won today, too, by like 19 points over. Granted, it's over the Atlanta Hawks and are very good, but still. They won. Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, 1 and 2, Final Fantasy 4 through 6, the SNES version of Star Ocean. All right. I also think like getting Final Fantasy 1 through 6 that people want will be addressed in the Virtual Console. Or, it's not Virtual Console. The Nintendo Switch Online service, eventually. They'll add the Final Fantasy games in. Let's see here. You couldn't sprint? That's drifting. That's not drifting. That's not drifting. Drifting is when you're playing a game. You're playing a game, and then you stop. You take your hand off the thumb, and your character's still moving. That's drifting. Not being able to sprint, that happened from grinding because it wasn't able to register me pushing the controller all the way forward because of the grind. And I did recalibrate and everything, and it never fixed it in Xenoblade. Drifting is different. Drifting is you're not moving the stick, but your character's still moving. That's drifting. Not the same thing. Let's see here. And the thing is, I could sprint like sideways. It was really weird. Like if I ran sideways and kept my camera, like it was only forward. I couldn't forward sprint. Because that's where the grind was the worst. Which, of course, because, you know, when you're playing games, what are you doing the most? Pressing forward and then, you know, going like doing one of these things, right? So, like, you're grinding and creating the biggest groove in the front of your controller. Let's see here. Scroll down here. Okay, so we're talking right now about the SNES games coming to, for anyone who just tuned in, we're talking about the SNES games coming to Switch here. Took 10 days to get the Piranha email code. Like it's been over a month for me. Still don't have it, so I should probably get a hold of them so that gets taken care of before the 31st. Otherwise, oh no, it's gonna cost me like I don't know, what is it, $2? I mean, they shouldn't charge anything, but whatever. Oh, nice, you got smashed because you were at a store that was liquidating. man. Nice. Probably use my Pro Controller 900 hours or so. Do you think Reggie's going to do a Mother bundle justifying the absence of Earthbound? They have to give us Mother 3 eventually. Nope. I don't think we're ever getting Mother 3, by the way. I think Mother 3 is just like Half-Life 3. The difference between Mother 3 and the Half-Life 3 is that Mother 3 actually exists and Half-Life 3 doesn't. But just like Half-Life 3 never releasing in the United States, because it doesn't release anywhere, Mother 3 is never releasing in the United States. It's never coming. Like, it's never coming. I'm just letting you know right now, it's never coming. The way Mother 3 was designed, some of the elements, some of the story things are so against the way Nintendo acts today that it will never come. They'd have to cut out part of the game. There's copyrighted music in there they have to switch out. There's a lot of different things they have to change to bring it over. They're not going to do it. I don't want to be that person that's like being a downer about it. But guys, it's been, what, 25 years? Like, we're not getting it. We're just not. We're not going to get Mother 3. It's just not going to happen. Nintendo has zero motivation to do it. Zero. Besides the 100,000 people that would actually care that it's here. They're not going to do it. It sucks, but it's not going to happen. Thankfully, if they re-release it in Japan, you could get it. It just won't have English. Because, you know, fun fact, did you know, this is something that I found out, if you are subscribed to the Nintendo Switch Online service, because the Nintendo Switch is region-free, you can actually download the NES app from other countries. So, like, if you want to play Japanese versions of games that came out on the Japanese app that aren't on the North American app, you can download theirs and play it just fine on your account, no problem. If you have an account on your Switch that obviously can access that. Can access their shop and download it. Like, that's really, really cool. I mean, welcome to being region free. Isn't it wonderful? Same thing happened to me in response to the Piranha Plant Fighter. Had to call Nintendo support. Please do before the 31st. Especially since Piranha Plant looks a lot of fun. Best Bucks coach and favorite player currently and all time. Best Bucks coach? I mean, the current one? We're on pace to have the best record the Bucks have ever had. Favorite player? Giannis. That's my favorite current player. I mean, all time. I mean, it's hard to go against Kareem, but Giannis is probably going to overtake my all time, especially if he gets us a title. Let me see here. You guys think SNES games will have net play? They're going to have it's going to have the same features that the NES ones do. They've made that very clear along the way that all the games they bring to the Nintendo Switch Online service are going to have all those online features. They already, like, that's just what they're doing. It's probably also why the games are taking longer to come out, frustratingly. I took the joystick apart for the Joy-Con. The tech is so cool. It's just a paper-thin piece of plastic. Well, yeah, with a sheet of contact metal and a little piece. Yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, that's what joysticks are. They're very simplistic. That's why they're also easy to screw things up. So, because they're easy to screw things up, because they're so simplistic, sometimes they're over-engineered, sometimes they're using bad plastics. It's weird when you start having stick issues. N64 stick was the worst. Oh my gosh, N64 stick was the worst, especially with grind. I think not everyone, but I know a lot of people experience grind on those dang sticks, and eventually you had the loose joystick with the white powder everywhere on the N64. I mean, come on, type F in the chat if you had that happen to your N64 controllers back in the day. The loose joystick with the white powder. That was the stick grind from underneath that actually broke. Still works. You could still use it, and then press W in the chat if you made your friends use that when you played Smash Bros. Or GoldenEye or anything like that, while you got to use the good controller. Totally did that. I mean, no, I didn't. I didn't give myself a controller advantage when I was a kid. Never. Oh, man. Get a Pro Controller, you won't regret it. I don't regret a Pro Controller. I have had two of them. I don't regret them. Both of them had the stick grind issue. So, I would rather have a Pro Controller than the Power A one, but I've been using this Power A one for more hours now than either of those Pro Controllers, and I don't have the same issues. So, Unfortunately, it doesn't have all the features I want either. But do you think we'll get N64 games, GameCube games, GBA games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy games, DS games, 3DS games, and Wii games all on Switch Online? If so, Nintendo would go from having the worst online to the best. No. No. I mean, I want to believe. You know what? Fine. You know what, Brandon the Stallion? I want to believe, so sure. Sure. I would love to believe that they're just going to give us everything. Wouldn't that be great? Hell, throw Wii U on there. They're not going to do Wii U. They're porting all those over, but you know what I mean. Yep, you download the Famicom app since I got the Nintendo Switch Online membership. Yep. And you can access it with your account that has it. Like, even if you download it, you can download it with an account that doesn't have the service, but then use your legit account that does to access it once it's downloaded. It's really cool. It's a really neat thing that you can do. Wait, did I miss this SNES on Switch announcement? There wasn't an announcement for it. It was data mined. Let's see here. The title? What title? The title wasn't clickbait. The title of my video? Is someone trying to say the title of my... Why isn't this... Okay, what is going on right now? What is happening? I'm trying to escape. Jeez. Trying to get out of that thing. The title of my video on that, it says 22 SNES games coming to Switch Online service, plus two more platforms. Well, that's not clickbait. That's telling you what happened. Because I didn't put data mine in the title, why does it matter if you put data mine? It doesn't change what it is. Like, the title can only be so long. So I put all the important, pertinent information in the title, and that's that 22 SNES games are coming to Switch Online service, plus 2 additional platforms. It's not clickbait, man. What mic am I using? I am using the AT2035, running through a, what's the name of this mixer? The Xenix 1202 mixer. Got phantom power, all that stuff. Great mixer. Excellent mics. These mics are amazing. I only have 2 of them, though. I want to get 2 more, but whatever. Works for now. I knew we shouldn't endorse piracy, but there is an English translation. Yeah, I know there's an English translation patch from Mother 3. And those people said, like, hey, Nintendo, you can just use this. You don't have to give us any money for it. Let me see here. I saw someone asked me to make a video complaining about something. People always want me to make videos complaining about issues they're having, and it's like, if I can't verify the issue, it's hard for me to make a video on it. How 2 of your Pro Controllers broke, and this is an issue. I've already made a video on stick grind. I literally made a video about my Pro Controller stick grinding, and I mentioned my issue with Xenoblade Chronicle 2 at the time. I've already done it. I've already made the video. In fact, let me find it. Let me find it here. What did I call it? Let me see here. What's it called? Pro Controller Stick Grind Nintendo Prime. Kind of rhymes a little bit. Switch controller has a yeah. So a year ago, I even showed it. I showed video of me. It's funny looking at video of me from my old office. It's got 17,000 views. Switch Pro Controller has a serious design fault causing grinding that impacts gameplay. So that video has a 55% like to dislike ratio. It was made on December 1st of 2017. So I made a video on it. People got mad at me that I made a video on it because their Pro Controllers weren't having issues yet. I had my Pro Controller from day one. From day one. That was a day one Pro Controller that I had used heavily for 9 months. I'm betting most people that had a Pro Controller at that point on December 1st of 2017 did not have their Pro Controller as long as mine, let alone had as heavy of use as my Pro Controller had. That's why I feel like they weren't experiencing the issue, and they thought that I was just making it up, even though I showed it. And some people were like, well, all controllers have stick grind. Sure, they do. Look. If you guys look close enough, if I get the focus just right, you'll notice a little line on this controller. That's a grind mark. But the grind mark, when I touch it, it's still smooth. It hasn't created a groove. It's just a mark, a little scratch. There's no noticeable groove, and that grind has not impacted gameplay. I have cleaned the stick. I have taken the stick out of the Pro Controller, cleaned it fully, put it back in, same issue. Now, if you replace the joystick, the issue goes away. but it's, yeah, it was a problem. It's still a problem, but you can't complain about Switch on my channel or people get mad. So, unless it's the online service. Apparently, enough people agree that the online service is bad that I can say bad things about that. But if I say bad things about a controller people like, oh boy, I love the Pro Controller, by the way, but I can't buy another one until I know that stick grind, because it's too expensive. Too expensive for me to buy another one just to have it happen again. I bought another one after that and it happened again, and I'm like, I can't keep buying controllers and having them start to fail on me. Where's he getting questions from? From the chat, Ross. All the questions are from the chat. Black Chinaman, Christ's son, what an interesting name. Says, just wanted to pop in and say that it sucks you lost your other job. However, recently your content has been great. Hope YouTube alone is able to support your family very soon. I hope so as well. That's why, again, I'll mention patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. For as little as $1 a month, you get my friend code on Nintendo Switch. That enables you to play multiplayer games with me when I stream them, like Fortnite or Splatoon or Smash or whatever. Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, whatever. If I stream a multiplayer Switch game, it enables you to play with it because you're on my friends list. And then, in addition to that, you also get access to our exclusive Patreon/YouTube member/Twitch Prime member Discord server. So you get some perks, and that's just $1. $5, you get early access to the audio version of the podcast. Plus, I think I put you at the end credits of our any future game reviews we do this year. And then $10, you get even earlier access to the podcast because you get to watch the podcast live as we record it. And then $20 a month, you get to be on an episode of the podcast. I want to get some other tiers that aren't just like so podcast related, but $10 a month, you also get priority for live streams. So we have 53 patrons, I think, right now. So like say we're at 100 patrons and 100 people show up to play a game. Well, if you're a $10 backer and up, you're going to have priority in the line to play that multiplayer game on live stream with me before the $5 and $1 backers. And the general public, I mean, they just don't get to play with me. I'm sorry. Like, I've done the friend code thing, handed it out, and I get slammed with like 1,000+ friend requests, and it's impossible to deal with. Let's see here. Nintendo Try, make a new version. Complaints are increasing on Reddit at the very least. Yeah, you know why complaints are increasing? Because a lot of the people have had their Pro Controllers long enough now that they're seeing issues. When I made it, people didn't have the Pro Controller long enough to see issues. I know that. I'm well aware of that. I know if I made that video today, it would not be at a 55% like to dislike ratio. But I've already made the video. I've already done it. I'm not going to repeat my content just because now people realize. Sorry, when you look up Pro Controller, let's see, what's your issue? You were calling it Pro Controller drifting. My video is ranked number 3. There's a how to fix a broken/defective left analog stick. That's at number 1 right now, in my search anyways. And then there's tips to dealing with drift on the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. And then number 3 is my video. So my video is ranking when people are looking for it. My video, in fact, has more views than the 2 videos in front of it. And the video behind it. The only one it doesn't seem to have more views than is Gustavo Ramos. I think he's got a bigger channel than mine too. And he's got 128K on his. Tech Game and Freak Hangman or whatever, he's got 100K on his. But mine's like right up there. Like I'm almost with the same. My mate Vince, I got almost as many views as his does. More views than Thrilla, Highland G. So yeah, it's my video's ranking fine when people are looking for that issue. There's no reason for me to rehash and make the same content. Matthew Campos hits us with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Matthew. Let me turn the volume up on my PC so I can hear those. Thank you so much for the $2. He says the new Smash controller doesn't grind. Coincidence? Or does it? You're not going to notice it for like 6 months. The Smash controller is too new to notice if it grinds or not. So you're not going to notice stick grind on the Smash Pro controller for a while. So it's too soon. The verdict is still out on if it grinds or not, because I didn't notice grind on my new Pro controller either in the first month. But give it time. It takes time. It's not something that happens instantly. But thank you so much for your couple bucks, man. I appreciate the support. Peace and love. All right, let's go here. blah, 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 blah. There's new information about Soldier Boy every 30 minutes. I mean, the news about his new console is that it doesn't have ROMs. So it's actually legal. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Next topic I have listed anyways in the title. Let's get to that. So we talked about YouTube Burnout. We talked about SNES games on Switch. How about the Nintendo Switch Mini? So we've had multiple analysts predicting that Nintendo Switch... Robert Smith hits us with $3 and he says, let's start a bidding war for attention. I mean, if you guys want to do that, go for it. I will shout you out every time you super chat, that's for sure. So the Nintendo Switch Mini. It is Michael Pachter and like a couple other analysts said it's coming this year. Rich from Review Tech USA thinks it's brilliant. They want it to come this year. I'm infamously known as the person who's anti-Nintendo Switch Mini. I don't think it makes sense. I hate the idea, but I'm one person. So instead of me going on a rant about why I don't like the Switch Mini and how I think Nintendo can hit $200 with the current Switch without needing a mini variant, I'd rather toss it out to you guys. I want to know your thoughts. What do you guys think about a Nintendo Switch Mini? Which, by the way, every concept for the Mini basically means it's a smaller Switch that the Joy-Cons do not detach. That's basically what it is. Doesn't really work with the dock per se. Blah, blah, blah. So I just want to know, what are you guys' thoughts on the Switch Mini? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And why? Just like saying I don't like it or I like it isn't going to be a good conversation starter. So let's get into like what you don't like or why you don't like it. Or why you like it and why you don't like it. What you don't like and why you don't like it. Obviously, I don't like it. But if you do like the idea, why? What's up? Let's see here. Your Pro Controller started grinding on the first week. Nice. Let's see here. Strap 2 Pros to your feet for maximum level grinding. Oh my gosh. Will it be preloaded with Skyrim, Wolf 2, Breath of the Wild, Smash, Odyssey, and Metroid Prime 4 for 600? No. Is the Switch even a Switch when it goes mini? That's a good question. Is it still a Switch if it doesn't have any of the functionality of the Switch? No tabletop mode, no motion controls, no instant multiplayer with just what's in the box, no ability to use it on your TV. Is it still a Switch then? It's a fair question. I think that is a fair question. Even if people can modify their docks and make like a smaller version of the dock to still use it, is it still a Switch? Daffy Duck says, I hope there's no mini version. I'm on the side of more power for a number of reasons. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be a huge hit with younger kids. I just want a stronger processor. Hear you there? Let me see here. My Switch was this weird thing when I leave it alone for like an hour or two and I turn it on, then I launch a game and my fan speeds up until it's going max speed. It eventually slows down. It's because your CPU is ramping up. Then once your CPU stabilizes, so does the fan. It's pretty normal. Happens when you boot up a computer too. I don't know if you ever noticed that about computers. The fans will ramp up like crazy because everything's loading, the OS is loading, and the CPU starts maxing out for a moment, and then it all calms down. That's pretty normal. That's a normal. It should do that, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it happens for everyone, but it absolutely should do that. Especially when you've left it alone for a couple hours, because that means the CPU is basically not even running anymore by the time you come back to it, even if it was in sleep mode. Let me see here. The cheaper price and controllers built in would be great, but trying to play multiplayer would be tough. Switch Mini sounds like a dumb version of the original. I personally don't want to give a crap about the Switch Pros or Minis, and I think the constant guesswork at it is really annoying. I'd rather wait for actual evidence. I hear ya. I hear ya. Hey, we got a $4 donation from Joe. I missed it earlier. So we had a $2 from Matthew Campos. Then he was one-upped by Robert Smith. Says, let's start a bidding war for attention for $3. And then Joe, I'm guessing that's Joe Prosco, hits us with the $4 donation and says, I need attention. So Joe, here's your attention. 3 minutes late, but here's your attention. We also had a couple new subscribers during this stream. I gotta give a shout out to Sebastian M for subscribing. We also had 1 bit, by the way, from Megadude0007. Sorry, Twitter, folks. I have not been looking at my Twitter at all during this. So, hi. welcome if you're still watching. If you're not, I'm sorry that I ignored you. We also had a new subscriber in Game X51 about 17 minutes ago. And then John Brennock just subscribed a minute ago. So thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in. All right, so right now we're talking about the Switch Mini and your guys' thoughts on the Switch Mini. I'm just going through the comments and kind of reading off some of your guys' things and giving my thoughts if I have any. DW64 says, if a Mini comes out, what are people clamoring for? People will complain once they see the size of the screen. And they'll complain and say, it's small enough. Now we get a smaller screen? WTF. Sure. It wouldn't make sense. Just need a stronger version, like the new Nintendo 3DS XL. And what's funny is they could do an XL without making the Switch bigger. They just get rid of the bezel. The Switch screen grows by like a whole inch if you get rid of the bezel. It's crazy. Do I think Waluigi will ever be in Smash? Save those questions for our general Q&A, which is coming up here soon. Let's see here. And hey, shout out to all of you guys. We hit a peak of 81 viewers like 30 seconds ago. We were down to 74, but thank you so much for tuning in. This Week in Review continues to be one of the most popular streams I do, and it's only every other week because it's on a Sunday. Let's see here. That's just a Game Boy. Here's a better idea. A Switch Mini that comes with no Joy-Cons. That way you can attach your Joy-Cons to it and pocket it. A Mini that comes with no Joy-Cons? So you want them to sell a version of the system that requires you to spend $80 in addition? I'm not sure I can dig that one. Let's see here. Brennan Stryker says, yeah, I'd like a Mini. And it would be cool if I could sync my user profile of my regular Switch and my Mini, so I could seamlessly go back and forth between them. Ha! Ha ha ha! I actually really like that idea, but this is Nintendo. That's not going to happen. It's nice to have pipe dreams, though. Let me see here. The Switch is almost too small for my hand, so a Mini wouldn't work for me. Okay. Was the 2DS a 3DS? Yes, it was. Yeah, no, I got the donation, Zimakito. I shouted it out. Unless there's another donation I don't know about. Again, I'm a little bit behind in the chat because I'm trying to read the comments here. Peter Alicorn says, I think it's too early for a Switch revision. I probably won't buy it. Hear ya. Matthew Campos says, I think it's a good idea. So see, we're getting both sides. We have people who like it and people who don't. It's very interesting. This is why I didn't want to like eat up all the conversation about it because I don't think it's a good idea and I don't want it. But that doesn't mean that there aren't people that do think it's a good idea and do want it. So I like reading your guys' thoughts on this. They can use the built-in Joy-Cons with it with no motion controls, standard rumbling, and no motion camera while still packing in the dock. So get rid of all the other features but keep the dock. I don't know. I mean, the other thing, I don't like the idea, so like I'm not going to have a positive opinion on anyone who does like it, but that's okay. Like, get your thoughts out there. That's what this is for. I don't want a Switch Mini. If anything, I'd want something closer to the idea of a Pro, but I'd be happy with something like the XL. All right. Nintendo Switch Mini might be a redesign with the dock sold separately. This would cut the price with $70+, get people to buy a second one. For those who don't know, my idea is to basically, at some point this year, they do a general price cut on the Switch on the whole, so it goes from $300 to $250 by holidays this year. And then to get down to $200, you just take out the dock and you just sell a dockless version for $200, and suddenly you're hitting the 3DS market. But that's just me. What do I know? Of course, this would mean the Switch Pro comes out. That's the $300 price point. But maybe the Switch Mini can be used as a second screen for the rumored Nintendo DS Virtual Console. Yeah, probably not. And they can simulate Virtual Console DS-wise on the touchscreen already. Let's see here. How do you play Mario Party on the Mini? You buy separate Joy-Cons. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for those thoughts. That's awesome. Let me see if there's any other news stories I want to get to before I open this up to just a general Q&A you guys can talk about. And ask any questions you want. But let me just make sure I don't have any other news topics I want to bring up from this past week that I just didn't put in the title. Because we talked about the SNES games. The Apple buying Nintendo thing, it's not news. It's an opinion piece by this article writer. So that's why I didn't really bring that up to talk about. Because I don't think there's anything to talk about. It's not news. I want to talk about news. Let's see here. like a new king. Is Super Smash Bros. Already the best-selling? Super Smash Bros. Is now the best-selling Smash game ever in Japan. I mean, that's cool. Don't know if there's much to talk about, but that's cool. So those Final Fantasy games got a release date. Yoshi's Crafted World got a release date. So that's something that's really nice. I almost wanted to talk about the Direct again, like the fact we didn't get one, but I didn't really think that was worth talking about. GameStop bidding war happening. Not sure that was a very interesting topic. Not a lot of people even watched that video. I liked talking about it, but we only had like 700 people watch that video, so I don't think that that you guys are that interested in talking about GameStop. Not like on RGT channels or Spawnwave's channel. Like, people are really interested in that, but not on mine so much. That's okay. Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen was heading to Switch. I guess I'm just looking back at it. I think we'll make that our final topic. The Dragon's Dogma. How many of you guys knew what Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen was before it was announced this past week? I'm just very curious. I'm not going to lie. I heard about the game, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was until it was announced. So, what do you guys think about Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen? Ultimate Keymaster has it on the Xbox 360. Ross Campbell had never heard of Dragon's Dogma. Retro Treats, what's that? Period? No clue. I don't know. I don't care. I've never heard of the game. Can anybody confirm there are goblins in Dragon's Dogma? That I don't know. I'm totally getting it when it comes out. I think it's going to be $30, so hell yeah. It is $30. Yep, it is $30. It is, I used to own Dragon's Dogma, never beat it. I have heard that Dragon's Dogma is really comparable to Oblivion, and a lot of people think Oblivion is one of the best RPGs ever made. So, that sounds really interesting. I mean, it doesn't have the highest review ratings. It's around an 80 on Metacritic, but whatever. That doesn't mean anything. Things get underrated by critics all the time. So things get overrated by critics too. So I think it's definitely. I'm gonna be checking it out. I've never played it before. So let's see here. Do you, a buyer, will acquire GameStop or just its locations? I have a job where news report it's a company bought up, but in reality, company shut down, and the new company now owns land. We don't know. Obviously, don't know what the new owner is doing. The new owner would own the whole of GameStop, and they can do whatever they want. But GameStop doesn't really own. Like, most of the GameStop stores are not on land that GameStop owns. GameStop rents. They rent in mini malls, and they rent in actual malls and stuff like that. GameStop rents their store space. So it wouldn't make sense for a company to buy them to close down the stores for land reasons, because they don't own the land they're on. Most GameStops are part of mall areas. Dragon's Dogma came out right after Skyrim, and everyone compared it to that. Yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. Like, that happened to Titanfall. Like, the original Titanfall was really, really good. But then Titanfall 2 came out, and I thought Titanfall 2 was really good too. But it released like when Call of Duty and Battlefield came out. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't release your game where it can compare to something that's already more popular. All right. No one really seems to want to talk much about Dragon's Dogma. That's okay. I'm not excited for it. It's a new game coming to Switch, April 23rd, I think. So, cool stuff. All right. I don't really know if there's any other news I really want to hit on. I'm just glancing one more time. No, not really. I mean, there's news from like the past 2 weeks, but this is this week in review, not the past 2 weeks in review. All right. This is where the floor opens up, and you guys can ask whatever you want about me, about the channel, about my life, about video games, about Nintendo. Heck, you want to ask about Xbox, PlayStation, PC? I don't really care. Ask anything you want, and I shall provide an answer if I feel like it. I will try to get through every single question. And if you don't believe me, watch how quickly I fall behind the chat in answering questions. If this is the first time watching, I am one of those people that try to answer every question that's tossed my way. So I literally stop the chat. I'm actually stopping it right now on one end while I have the live chat on another, so I can keep up with the questions that are asked. I do ask that you, because the chat is moving so quickly, we have 69 people watching right now, that you ping me in the chat if you have a question. So at Nintendo Prime in the chat if you have a question, and I will try my best to answer said question. In fact, I'm gonna switch up which chat I have going which way, because one actually pings me, the other one doesn't. All right. So Brandon the Stallion pops in here, says, what would you think about a Mario Party HD collection? Basically an HD remake of Mario Party 1 through 8 with Super Mario Party style graphics. I think that would be really cool. I would rather it just all be added as DLC to Super Mario Party. I would rather them release DLC packs that have all that content. But that's just me. What do I know? I wasn't, let me see here. Sonic Man the Best says, go over the Nintendo Life emulator. I don't know what that is. Let me Google that. What is the Nintendo? I know Nintendo Life, the website. I don't know what a Nintendo. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to clarify. I'm not seeing anything in a Google search. So, Ariel Lazarus says, I thought one of the 3 GameStops within 10 miles of my house would close after it got wiped out by a tornado a few months ago, but it just opened back up. Crazy. Because there are a lot of GameStop locations that are profitable. As much as GameStop stock has gone down, there are many locations that are massively profitable. So just because one got wiped out doesn't mean it's not coming back, because it was so profitable. Of course it was going to come back. Let's see here. I need the Switch numbers now. Yeah, you're not gonna get those now. Sonic Man the Best says, he's saying the Nintendo Life did a story on the SNES coming to Switch rumor and also mentioned other emulators. So did I. We literally covered that as like one of the first stories we talked about today. I literally covered that. So I covered it in my video about it. So, I mean, and my video about it came out before Nintendo Life even had a news article about it. So, bazinga. I was one of the first on the scene for that story. Already been talked about, already been covered. Turn on slow mode. Not turning on slow mode. Nope. I don't do slow mode. Not unless the chat is way out of hand. I don't think the chat's moving so fast it's way out of hand. So I don't need slow mode. Who owns EB Games? GameStop. GameStop owns EB Games everywhere. That includes those EB Games in Australia that people try to argue with me about how well they're doing. Doesn't matter how well they're doing, they're owned by GameStop. All of EB Games is owned by GameStop. GameStop bought out EB Games like decades ago. They've been GameStop stores just using the EB Games branding forever. It's been a long time since they were separate entities. I recently spent some significant time in Smash Online, and I realized that lag is real. This comes from Shadow King 1982. I also realized during the match I forgot about grabs and didn't win the set, though. Well, that's not a question. Thank you for your statement. Crispy Productions, welcome to the stream, man. He says, who is your main in Smash Ultimate? Right now it's Link. Just standard Link. Still not very good with him, but I win with him more than I win with other characters, so I guess by default that makes him my main. Ross Campbell, I'm gonna answer this question, but remember next time to ping me in the chat. Your question just happened to be in between a bunch of people who pinged me. It says, if you use game trailers with audio in the video with your commentary over it, will you get content ID'd? Basically, what are the do's and don'ts of what you can use in a video? Thanks for an answer. If it's a Nintendo game, I can do whatever I want as long as there's commentary. So if they put up a trailer about Yoshi's Crafted World, I can use that trailer. I can use it, without the audio, or if I want to say I want to do a trailer reaction, right? I want to react to the new trailer for Yoshi. I could play that trailer and I can have the audio play now, as long as I talk and have commentary in that video. But if it's like Dragon's Dogma, that's different. I used that in a video, didn't even have the audio on, didn't matter because Nintendo doesn't own the copyright for Dragon's Dogma. Capcom does. So Capcom copyright claimed my video. So, the do's and don'ts are, as long as it's Nintendo and Nintendo owns the rights to it, you can do whatever the heck you want as long as there's commentary. If it's another company, it's up to that company. Ubisoft, as an example, lets you do anything you want. Capcom does not. Capcom is very strict on YouTube. Nintendo Life. Oh, I already read that. Do you think Amazon will get into the gaming industry to compete with Nintendo, Sony, etc.? Saw a story on this. Amazon's launching a streaming service. They are competing with things like the Google Stream stuff they're doing in the Chrome browser, competing with Microsoft streaming service, etc. They're not really making a console. They are making a streaming service. They were going to make a console at some point, but now they're getting into game streaming. So, do I think they're going to do that? Well, of course they're going to do that. Nobody owns the streaming market yet. So every major company is going to try to get in there because they want to be the first Netflix of gaming. There is no Netflix of gaming yet, and all of these companies are trying to become the Netflix of gaming. So Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple will probably do it. Like, everyone's going to get in on this, and they're going to try to become the Netflix of gaming. One of them is going to rise to the top and do it better than everyone else. We just don't know who. Let's see here. Retro Cheat says, do you think E3 will be disappointing in 2019? Nintendo is great, but I like the other boring conferences too. I mean, if you like them, then are they really boring? I don't know about that. It's weird to call something like you enjoy boring. I don't think any of the press conferences are boring, but E3 is like a long holiday, but not so sure for 2019 might be lacking. The only thing that would be lacking would be Sony, because Sony's not going to be there. But if you care about PC, they still have the PC gaming show. If you care about Microsoft, they're still going to have their press conference. Ubisoft, EA, they're all going to be there. Nintendo's still going to do their thing. So I think there's plenty to be excited about. I mean, if you're a Sony person, obviously you're not really looking that forward to E3 right now. But Sony will have its own events, I'm sure, and they'll show whatever they want. Maybe they'll show off the PlayStation 5 this year at PSX or something. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of reasons to still be excited for E3. Just not, like, if you're really into Sony, then obviously I can understand you not being as hyped. But if you're into anything else in the gaming industry, like, there's going to be a lot at the show. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see PC gaming have a bigger presence at E3 this year now that that massive spot opened up in one of the main halls. So I would be very, very interested to see if PC gaming makes a bigger presence at this E3. Mizako Mezcal, I totally butchered that name. Welcome. He says, how would you feel about a top-down Zelda Maker for the Switch instead of a Mario Maker? That'd be great, but why not both? Mario Maker already exists. Port it over, then give us Zelda Maker. They can do both. Another thing, too, if you guys don't want to wait to get your questions in, you can do super chats and donations to get your questions, and those jump to the top of the pile. If people get impatient. Or they have to leave and they want their question answered before they leave. Computer robots. Welcome to the stream. Lots of new people today. Welcome, guys. Would you be surprised if Nintendo added any Mortal Kombat character and put in their violent gore into Smash DLC? They won't put in the gore because that would raise the rating of Smash, so they won't do that. But would I be surprised if they added a Mortal Kombat character? It would be a surprise, but yeah, they won't add in the gore. Like, you'd still get, like, the get over here or whatever, but, like, you're not going to get, like, the gore deaths and stuff like that. A lot of the gore comes from the deaths. And the deaths are going to be Smash Bros. Deaths. They happen off screen. So, but yeah. There could be a Mortal Kombat character. It's just not going to, it's going to just be like Ryu and Ken and stuff. It's just going to be something like that. Should I buy stock in Nintendo, says Peter Alarcon. I am not someone to give financial advice, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. What I can tell you is that I do think their stock is going to rise significantly this year. So if you buy now, you could probably resell later this year for a profit. But I am by no means a financial analyst, a stock analyst. No one in their right mind should ever come to me for advice on how to invest your money. I'm someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, doesn't have a retirement, is in massive debt both for school and just in general with other mistakes I made in my past. I am not the person to talk to about finances. And I'm the idiot trying to, who's 32 years old trying to do YouTube full time with only 43,000 subs. I'm not the person to talk to about financial stuff. So save that for, like, something like, people can hate on Michael Pachter, but the people who, like, do the Michael Pachter thing, like, if he's your actual financial investment person, he makes people a lot of money. That's why he has the job he has. So he's someone to ask. He would be more the person to ask where to best invest your money. Robert Smith says, not a question, but now I'm $1 ahead of Joe. You might be $1 ahead of Joe, Robert, but he has the largest donation total in terms of single donation. He has a $4 donation. you might have $5 total in the bin, but he has the largest single donation. So are you really on top? I don't know. It's okay. Thank you so much for your couple bucks. Let's see here. Scrolling down here. How come nobody ever talks about the remake of Smash 64? I think that'd be pretty awesome. People don't really talk about it because we're still getting Smash games. And we don't have Smash Ultimate. Let's see here. Ross Campbell says, I was impressed at how quickly... Whoa, we had a $5... So Robert comes through, so not only can he have the biggest total, but now he can have the biggest donation. So Robert right now, for those that care, he is now sitting with the highest total money given in a single donation or super chat. Thank you so much, Robert Smith. I appreciate the support, especially since I don't have anything crazy tonight. I'm not doing shots. I'm not doing push-ups or sit-ups tonight. It's just, hey, thanks so much. Get your questions in. Donate super chat if you want. Awesome. Let me see here. Of course, my chat jumped here. Let's see here. I'm sorry. I am behind in my feed and sometimes miss things. That's okay, Sonic Man. Don't worry about it. I'm not mad that you asked that question. I just wanted to reference I already talked about it. So, take that, Joe. Let's see here. Your Majora's Mask on your shelf is super cool. Cool. Wish I had one, just saying. Yeah, I'm going to go grab that Majora's Mask. I don't know if I've ever given anyone a close-up because it used to be attached to my wall. Trying to be very careful with it because it's handcrafted. Like, yeah, it's handcrafted. This was made by a fan of Zelda Informer back in the day, and he sent it to me. It's not really sure how he made it. It looks like if you look at the back, kind of looks like maybe some paper mache, but then it's got some girth to it, so I don't really know that it's paper mache. But it's something. Anyways, it looks beautiful. It's hand painted as well. All of these are individually screwed in. Like he hand cut those and withered those down. It came originally, like these things come off, these top ones. It came originally with this little piece of leather that you'd put underneath each one of these, and then you would screw it into your wall. That leather, I've had this thing for years. That leather broke. Unfortunately, I don't remember who sent this to me. It was a fan of Zelda Informer back in the day. This is one of the coolest things I've ever had a fan send me. And I have it wall mounted, but because the leather stuff broke, I don't have it wall mounted anymore. But I love it. I love this thing a lot. It is. I mean, it's really high quality too. Like, you hear that? Like it's not like one of those cheap plastic ones. Like these are actual wood. All the little prongs here are actual wood. But this isn't wood. This is like a polymer of some. I'm not even sure, to be honest. Some dust on it. There we go. Set that in the back there. Let's see here. Joe Prosco says, assuming I only have a 1080p monitor. Okay. Will any of the GeForce 10 series GPUs fit the bill for a gaming PC? Should I just go for something like the 2060? The 2060 is going to have you set at 1080p for the next 5-6 years if you want to go that route. Holy crud! Someone, as I live and breathe, Cody Shadley tops everyone with $19.99. That means he did it from his phone. It's really a $20 spot. Sorry, I'll get back to your question here, Joe, because Cody Shadley just came out of nowhere and says, what's your favorite non-Nintendo game? That's a very good question. Because I get asked a lot about my favorite Nintendo game, Breath of the Wild. I must repeat Breath of the Wild like 50 times in the past year answering that question. Probably more than that, to be honest. My favorite non-Nintendo game. I mean, Secret of Mana, but it was on a Nintendo platform. Let me think of ones that weren't on a Nintendo platform. One sec, I'm trying to remember specific names. I really liked, it was a Dreamcast game, Skies of Arcadia, that one's way up there for me. I am a big fan of Skyrim as well. But like, what one would I put like at the top? Out of all of the amazing games I played, like I've played so many great games. Gosh, you know, this might not come as a big surprise, but Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation 2. If you know I'm a big Zelda guy, you'll completely understand why Shadow of the Colossus. And I know they actually, like, I think, remastered it for PlayStation 4. But Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation 2. I'm still shocked to this day that game was even on PlayStation 2. The game is, love it. Love fighting those giant colossuses and love it. All right. Thank you so much for that $20 and your question. So Joe Prosco, about the 1080p, I would personally, if you were building a new computer, I would buy the 2060 now because you'll be set for years. But like I have a 1070, it's fine. The 1060 outperforms it, but it's fine. I mean, for 1080p, it's fine. I mean, a 1060 is fine for 1080p. 1050 Ti is fine for 1080p. But 2060 will have you set like for the future too. Like when games start to do ray tracing and stuff, you'll be able to do that at 1080p for 2060 with the 2060. So, and I think the 2060 is launching at 350, which that's kind of in between the range of like a 1060 and a 1070. Daffy Duck says, did you know Shadmen served in the army and graffitied a tank? Unrelated but interesting, cool / fact. Don't even know who that is. So I obviously did not know. Thanks for reminding you to start Skies of Arcadia again. Dude, Skies of Arcadia is a good game. It's a good game. I played it a bit on Dreamcast, and then when it came to GameCube, I mean, I beat it. Oh, I love that game. Let's see here. A Retro Treat says, with all these streaming / game services, Amazon, Steam, Epic, Verizon, Xbox, and so many more, I think we're heading towards a video game crash due to the flood of games. No. No. What's going to happen is all those streaming services are going to come out. Meanwhile, PlayStation 5, Xbox, the next Xbox, and the Switch are all going to be doing fine. They're going to be doing fantastic in spite of all those streaming services. And then what's going to happen is those streaming services are going to start cannibalizing each other, and then eventually 1, 2, or 3 of them are going to kind of just sit around. It's like saying, man, do you think movies and TV shows are going to crash because there's Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, Amazon Prime? Like, no. Of course they didn't crash. Like, video games aren't going to crash from it either. Just some companies are going to make it big, some aren't, and that's just what happens. The user base will sort all that out for them. Like right now, there's a lot of streaming cable places, and I have a feeling some of them are going to start going away here eventually because not all of them are successful. Shadow King 1982 says, I probably will only get Final Fantasy X on Switch because I never really liked X2, or Final Fantasy 12, I think he meant, because to me it felt like they couldn't decide between a turn-based or an action RPG. Did you like it? I didn't play Final Fantasy X, so I can't tell you. I liked Final Fantasy 12, though, so I don't know what to tell you. Robert flies to the top of the donation lead by 1 penny. By 1 penny. By 1 penny. Robert says, I didn't want to have to be in the lead by a penny, but you forced my hand. Thank you so much, Robert Smith. He's dedicated. He wants to be at the top of that mountain, man. Is anyone gonna top him now? He's at the $20 spot. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate all that support tonight. All of it goes to pay my bills, man. I mean, this stuff's paying my bills. It's my job. This stream, what I am doing tonight, is literally part of my job. I am not just doing this because it's fun and because I'm passionate, because this is work for me. Isn't it kind of wonderful that this is work? Man, it's crazy. It's crazy that this is work, but it is. Even if we weren't getting the super chats and donations, this stream would have still happened because it's important for the community, because building a strong community is how you build a strong foundation, so I can do this for a living. So thank you so much. Joe! Is the notification going to come in? Hold on. Hold on. I think Joe Prosco just took the top donation spot. Why is it not coming in? Joe Prosco just hit us with $20.01. and 1 cent and 1 penny. He gave a donation, and he said, giving an extra penny to counter Robert, since I found a penny in between the couch cushions. Did it not pop up? Let me, can I refresh it? Oh, it's not giving an alert. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can fix the alerts for donations. Where's my alert box? Did I uncheck the donation box by accident? No, donations should be coming through. That's weird. Whatever. It should appear in the ticker down here. Let me see. It should be the first one in the ticker. There it is. $20.01 and the ticker on the bottom. Joe. So Joe is now at the top, even though it didn't do like a big notification. Thank you so much, Joe. I'm glad you found that penny in your couch. I have a... Oh my gosh, do I not have a penny here? I usually have a penny. Apparently, I must have took all my change input. Oh, nope, there it is. I knew I had a penny. I've got a few of them, actually. I've got 3 pennies. That's more money than what's in my bank right now. Probably shouldn't say that out loud. All right, moving on. How do you feel about a top-down Zelda Maker for the Switch instead of Mario Maker? Oh yeah, I already did that one. Sorry. Ross Campbell hits with the $2 donation, says, I have a science channel, so happy to support you. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you have a science channel. I hope your science channel is doing well. I watch a lot of science channels. I've never heard of yours, but you know what? Let me. I'm not going to watch it on stream, of course, because we have sponsorships for that kind of thing. $100 sponsors on our Patreon can get things like get me to check out your channel in the middle of the stream. You do? Wow. You're bigger than me, my man. Ross Campbell. He's at 67,905. He's on his way to 68K. Whoa, you heard him for a second. Hey, everyone. Happy New Year. I have to watch. Yeah. He gets better viewership than me, too. Congrats, man. You got a nice little channel going. Assuming this is you. Let me see. I don't know if that's you, though. I'm not sure if the avatar lines up. Not 100% sure. It might be a different Ross. It's the only channel showing up for me, though. Anyways, thanks so much for your support, man. I appreciate all of it. All of it. Even people just watching. I appreciate you guys. Capcom is strict on YouTube. The same Capcom that loves fan games of the franchises? You betcha. I really want a top-down remix of Link's Awakening on Switch. That would be awesome. Will you be buying Jump Force and Mortal Kombat 11? Probably not. Probably not either of them. Not that interested in Jump Force, and I don't like fighting games. Ironically, I have Smash Bros, but I just don't like fighting games. So Mortal Kombat 11 is probably a no-go for me. I thought about getting it just for graphic comparison reasons, but other people will have that done. Digital Foundry and others will take care of that. So, Ross Campbell had a follow-up question. So if a company like Capcom claim it, you just let the video stay up and use it for sub-growth? Yes. They didn't strike it. If they strike it, that's a big deal. I can't live stream. I can't put ads on videos. Like, if I get a copyright strike, that's huge. But just a claim, that just means they make all the money off that video. Now, I could take down that video so they don't make money off of it, but it was a video that had over 3,000 views, and I'm like, you know what? Just leave it up. It's a good Dragon Dogma. Like, it's a big announcement. I'm not going to avoid it. I just won't use... Now, I just know in the future I won't use Capcom stuff in my videos. I can still talk about Capcom games, but I can't show you gameplay or anything else. So, let me see here. This is my alt. Oh, my fiance just sent me an image. I sent her a little thing that said you're pretty, and then she said thank you very much. I'm going to hit her back here. Let's get her with the good one here. Where is my? There we go. I'm gonna. Let's see here. I'm sending her a funny one. All right. Anyways, Nintendo would shock the world if they went to E3 and showed a new phone, but I don't think they would. Nah, I don't think Nintendo's getting involved in phones. Sony tried that, and if they couldn't make it work, Nintendo's not going to make it work. Bid war. A bid war? What's going on? What if your internet goes down? Bid war. Hit her with a $20.04 donation. What? I had a funnier comment, but you donated before I could say preemptively donated 2001, anticipating Robert's $20. In any case, you're an awesome man. Oh, geez. Is there going to be like a massive bid war, and are we going to get like over $100 in donations tonight? That would be crazy. Anyways, let me see here. Let me get back to the question so I can answer. My fiance did. I sent her a really funny one. Hold on. I hope she's not feeling like depressed or something right now. My fiance has depression, so I try my best to cheer her up. I think she liked the thing I sent her. I think that was funny. Follow up. If Capcom, I already did that. They have unintentional hand gestures. Okay, don't know what that's about. Something I probably forgot. Sonic Forces 2017 says, I need Mario Maker and Super Mario 3D World on Nintendo Switch. Mario Maker needs 2-player and multiple characters, and Super Mario 3D World needs Yoshi. Yoshi plus Catsuit equals love. Love. Of course, you can't see the heart. My mic blocked it. Whatever. All right. I mean, sure. Where? The chat jumped at me. There it is. Sonic Man the Best says, if you work for a company, it supposedly is illegal to sell if you know of a product before the public, but hard to prove. Yes, it is. Yep. You can't do that. It's against the law. In the U.S. anyways, it's against the law. Shadow King 1982 says, Final Fantasy 12 feels like Square Enix couldn't decide between an action-based RPG versus a turn-based system. Do you think Square should have picked one? That is what turned me off. Obviously, you think they should have. I like that. I like that it was a mix of both, because I like both. I know I'm weird. I'm weird like that. Like if they all they needed to do is then have a third system in from Bot and Katos, and then a fourth system in with the brake system from Octopath Traveler. Then they would have just screwed everyone up, and I would have absolutely loved the game, and it probably would have been my favorite game of all time. Glad to see streams have more viewers more often. Thank you so much. That's true of this stream. It wasn't true of the last 5, but that's because YouTube is having issues. Don't put on the mask. Don't listen to the line. Don't put it on. Let's see here. 0 chance to get Zelda Maker and Mario Maker port. Gun to head, pick one. So you can't have one. You can't have both. Well, I mean, then Zelda Maker, because Mario Maker already exists. You can still play Mario Maker on Wii U and 3DS. So obviously Zelda Maker, because it's new. I did paper mache in high school. It can be very thick. Yeah, no, you can. Dude, I've done paper mache. But I could tell by touching it, it's not paper mache. I know it's got the crinkle on the back. Like, if you look at it, like it's got that, you know, it's got that kind of like hand-pressed crinkle. But it's definitely not paper. I'm not sure what it is. And it's very smooth. Like, look how smooth it is in the front. It's definitely been sanded down or something. I wonder if it's like wood with paper mache on the back. I don't know. Not like I'm going to, lop a piece off and get it chemically tested. Let's see here. Reggie and Bill are getting are to be getting their own series. Nintendo Software Technology Development. Miyamoto wanted his own game. Furukawa said no. Miyamoto is mad and canceled Pikmin 4. What is going on with these questions? That's why we haven't heard about Pikmin 4. Crispy Productions says, what reason do you think Nintendo hasn't ported Mario Maker yet? They have it on 3DS, but not Switch. Because they're going to bring it later. If you notice, they're spacing out their Wii U ports. So we're going to get Mario Maker. We're either getting a Mario Maker 2, like they did with Splatoon, or we're going to get the Mario Maker port. But they're spacing it out. They're going to keep giving us Wii U games for another 2 years at least. So they're going to keep spacing out the ports. They can't give us everything at once. Let's see here. Mezcal. I really can't pronounce it. I'm really sorry about butchering your name. I'm really bad with pronunciations. New question. Dream scenario. Mortal Kombat is coming to Switch. What if the next Smash DLC is a Mortal Kombat character, and Switch gives Mortal Kombat a Nintendo character? Who jumps over? Link. Just like with Soul Calibur 2. It would be Link. I mean, heck, Link even has a hook shot to do the come over here thing, so they can kind of like mimic, what's his name? The ice guy. I don't know. This is bad that I don't even remember the name of the Mortal Kombat characters because I haven't played a Mortal Kombat game in so long. Or seen the movie in so long. Oh, remember the movies? Those movies are so cringe. They're awesome. Ariel Lazarus. Nice. Majora's Mask. Looks even better than the one guy I saw who was cosplaying in Happy Mask Salesman. And his masks were really nice. Yeah, like you couldn't cosplay with this. I mean, you could take correction. There are holes on the eyes, but the eye holes don't really like match up with my eyes, so that doesn't work. Like you could still cosplay and take photos. Like I could probably put a strap underneath one of these screws, strap it on my head, and then you could like take photos with it. But it's not like you could walk around a con with that on or something. Now on your back, sure, you could like strap it around your back and walk around with it. That might be cool, but I might be worried someone might try to grab it and walk off with it. So, like I think the guy who made that for me sells them too, but he sells them. They're like $300. They're really expensive because they're all handcrafted. So, you need to have bidding wars more often. Dude, the bidding wars aren't up to me. The people doing like the bidding wars, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Nice. So the bidding wars aren't up to me. Like people bidding against each other in super chats and donations, like that's not on me. I don't get to decide that happens. That's on people that are donating and super chatting. I'm not gonna like tell people, all right, it's time to bid war now. Who's gonna give me the biggest super chat donation tonight? Like, you know, if people want to do that, that's fine. A couple people did that tonight. Joe and Robert in particular. Cody Shadley got in on it for a moment too. But I have a feeling that $20.01 might stand. I don't know that we're gonna get any bigger than that tonight. Let's see here. How do you feel about custom Robo series? And also, can we play sometime? The custom Robo series, I never really been a big fan, so I can't say much. I don't think it's bad. I just never really been into it. And can we play sometime? Can you play a game? If you are a member of our Patreon at patreon.com/NintendoPrime, anytime I play a multiplayer game on a live stream, you have the ability to play the game with me if you also happen to own it. Let's see here. Zumakito says, what's your favorite Kirby game? I mean, I'm always going to be impartial to Kirby's Dream Land, the first one. It was the first Kirby I ever played, and I loved it to death, and that tree boss is still in, like, every Kirby game. So, like, I can't help it. I fully admit it's completely nostalgia, why it's my favorite, but oh well. Nostalgia's not a bad thing, by the way. I don't like when people treat nostalgia. That's another thing. I should make a video on that sometime about how nostalgia is not nostalgia is a wholly positive feeling. Why do people like, oh, your opinion doesn't count because of nostalgia? It's like, nostalgia is a good thing. Don't you wish you were nostalgia for like every? I wish I was nostalgia for everything in my life. It'd be awesome. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Lots of people talking here. Son of Man the Best. People are mad at Sakurai. He said no Waluigi because he wants the human princess from Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. No, he did not. You gotta be lying. I don't remember hearing that. Let's see here. Ross Campbell says, I think you're doing all right in Center Prime. Keep making vids and have a good time. Thank you, man. I'm trying. I'm really trying to make this my full-time job and my career. Things are going well. I really hope the Patreon keeps growing. The Patreon's huge because as much as the super chats and the donations are awesome, and I hope we keep getting lots of those, the Patreon itself is a regular paycheck that I can kind of sort of rely on. Like right now it's at $358. Was that $42? $42 short of the next stretch goal? I think I actually did my math wrong on my community post today. Like, it's awesome. Let's see here. Someone else is going to have to beat me, says Robert Smith. Robert Smith is spent. That's okay, Robert. So don't expect Robert to top Joe's $20.01. That's all right, man. Hey, you're the one that got the bidding war started. You're the one that, like, yeah, let's bid war go. So you're the reason that donation even came in. Let's see here. Ahmed A, a.k.a. Note 9 Tech Support. By the way, Ahmed A, I lost my my S Pen. I'm a little sad about that. I can't find it. Anyways, says, I don't like game streaming. How about you? I wasn't sure what to think about game streaming until I played it. I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey on Google's streaming service over Chrome, and it was awesome. So I'm all for it as an option for gaming. Just like I was kind of against Netflix when it first came out as like a streaming service, and I liked it. So let's see here. So I don't mind it. I mean, I literally put up a video saying Nintendo should get into game streaming. So I mean, that a lot of people don't like that. My fan base hates that I have that opinion. So, Brandon the Stallion says, "Do you think Waluigi will ever get into Smash? The moment Waluigi has his own game, he'll get into Smash." Let's see here. MacMain, what do you think of the Oracle of Seasons games? Do you prefer 3D Zelda or 2D Zelda? Well, I prefer home console 3D Zelda games, but I like the 2D Zelda games too. The Oracle of Seasons games, you mean Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages? Don't call them both Oracle of Seasons. Get out of here with that crap, MacMain. You know better. You can call them the Oracle games, but not the Oracle of Seasons games. No, it's Oracle of Season and Oracle of Ages. Anyways, the point is that I love them both. They're really fantastic. There was supposed to be a third game, and it was supposed to be a trilogy. Never happened, but yeah, I really like. I would have liked to see the original vision with the third game that they didn't do, but I mean they ended up making like Minish Cap later, which is really good too. Let's see here. Why does Sonic Forces 2017 hitting us with the hard questions says, why does Game Explain get to do whatever the heck they want? Trailer re-uploads without commentary. They get to upload trailers from third-party companies. They get to do this. They get to do that. They get to blah 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 blah. They are the let me just say, it is good to be the king. They are, have been, and probably forever will be the #1 most subscribed Nintendo YouTube channel. The makers of that channel, one of the original, actually the original creator of that channel used to work at IGN, so he already had connections to some of these companies. So he was able to get permission and get whitelisting from everyone. And because of that, he's allowed to freely do whatever he wants until they revoke it, which they're not going to revoke it because their videos bring a lot of attention to games and create a lot of sales for games. So Game Explain is now, I think, at 1.1 million subscribers, continuing to grow, and they had their foot in the door before that channel ever blew up. It helps when your foot's in the door. So that's why they get to do whatever the heck they want, and they'll probably always get to do whatever the heck they want because they're making all those companies a lot of money. Like, they never even had to worry about Nintendo's, whatchamacallit, the creators program. They didn't have to worry about any of that crap. They've been whitelisted before that was even a thing. Oh, let's see here. Joe Prosco, know your first and sixth favorite Zelda game. What's your fourth favorite? You know my sixth favorite? Let me see. That fourth is tough. The top three weren't that tough for me. Number 4. Let's go with, I don't even know what I said my sixth was. My gosh. Probably Link's Awakening? Probably Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening DX, specifically. Let's see here. Gallo Games says, have I ever gotten through all of Octopath Traveler? I picked it up on release, and I only just recently started it again. No, I have not, but I am also playing it again. It is the next game on my backlog to finish. Philip says, nostalgia by itself isn't a valid reason to prefer one game over another. That's why it's such a bad word. Disagree. Disagree entirely. So, the definition of nostalgia is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy and personal experiences. So when someone says that they prefer one game over another, that they prefer, I don't know, let's just say Mega Man 2 over Mega Man X. And they say it's because they have nostalgia for Mega Man 2 because it was their first Mega Man game. That is a completely valid reason. Completely valid. Why do they prefer it? Because they have happy personal associations to that game. Happy personal associations to that game. What is the most important thing in video games? To be happy while you're playing them. So if you have a happy association to a video game, every time you boot up Mega Man 2, you love it to death because of all of your happy memories. That is the most important reason to rank a video game. I argue, this will be a controversial video, I argue nostalgia is the most important reason to rank a game. The most important. Because we play video games for fun, we play for the memories, we play for the happy times. It is the most important reason to rank a video game. The most controversial opinion in the world right here. Nostalgia is the most important reason to rank a game. If you go back, you play that game, and you are flooded with happiness because of your memories, that is all that matters. That makes that game more important to that person than probably any other game they've ever played. That is a more important reason to rank a game number one than anything else. By the way, I'm not mad at you for this. I know it sounds like I'm not mad at you. The point is that for that individual person, that game matters to them more than anything else. If they want to use that as the reason that they rank that game out of games you think are objectively better, although there is no objectivity in the subjective enjoyment of a video game. Objectivity and quality of video games does not exist because it's personalized experiences. I talk about this all the time. People liking and disliking games, beyond them being literally broken, is about subjective enjoyment of the game. Subjectively, that game they play makes them reminisce and makes them extremely happy every time they boot it up. That is a valid and amazing reason to rank that game really, really high. You know what? Here's the thing. We hope. Here's the thing. The great hope with every video game we play is that when we play that game, that becomes the next game we're nostalgic about, right? We want the games to be so great they're nostalgic. We do, don't we? When you played Breath of the Wild back in 2017, don't you hope a decade from now you have nostalgia for that game? Does that suddenly make the game worse because you're nostalgia for your amazing experience you had while playing that damn game? Mario Odyssey, don't you hope it's the same thing for that? Every game you play, you should want to become nostalgic for it because that lets you know how special that game was to you at that point in your life and how special that game's going to remain for you for the rest of your life. We should want every game we play to become nostalgic for us. Because that means it's a truly special, personal experience. And those are the best kinds of games. The best kinds of games are the ones that you have an interpersonal experience with that makes you happy. Exactly what nostalgia is. Controversial opinion stated. People are going to be really mad about it. I know. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments like, I hate nostalgia. Like, video games are all about subjectivity. How you rank a game and how good a game to you is about subjective opinions. Nostalgia is subjective. Fine. Rank it high because it's nostalgia. I want every game I played. I want to be nostalgic about it in the future. I want to look back on that game and have such amazing memories of it. That's what I want. That means the game was that special. Anyways, people like to bash on nostalgia because they hate that someone's using their experience from when the game came out to compare it to games they're playing today. And I think that's just bullshit. Gaming changes. It's unfair to compare games from the past to games of today. So you can't use it. Gaming today is so much better than games of the past. Like Breath of the Wild is so much better than the original Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild wasn't possible in the 80s. So yeah, maybe it's better. Maybe it's not. Who cares? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. As long as you love games, why do we have to argue about this stuff? It's so dumb. I hate how arguments break out over this stuff. Next up, we have Retro Cheat says, I hate game streaming. I want to own a game forever. Just wait for the day you really miss a favorite game that you can never, ever play again. Well, that won't be true because this is the internet. And as soon as something hits a streaming service, someone downloads it off that streaming service and puts it on the internet. So, I mean, reality is, just like movies and TVs and everything else that's streaming, you'll be able to find copies of it on the internet. So that's one thing. Another thing is that if they're individual streaming services, like Nintendo in the case with Nintendo Switch Online Service, that stuff never needs to go away. They could just keep growing that library. For things like Amazon doing it, obviously, I don't know if they're going to get to the point where they rotate like Netflix does. Now, Netflix will always keep their original content down there, but they rotate everyone else's out. So that might be a thing that happens, but nothing wrong with wanting to own games. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a completely valid counter-argument to game streaming. But game streaming doesn't have to replace owning games. It could just be an option. But we don't really... The thing is, we don't really know where game streaming is going to be and what its market's going to be yet. All right, let me see here. Next up, let me see. Crispy Production says Nintendo getting into game streaming would fulfill your dreams. Nice. What happened to YouTube? Something wrong? My streams were not being sent out to... Notifications weren't being sent out, and it wasn't appearing in people's sub feeds for the past 3 days. It obviously is working today because we're back up to our usual viewership. Brandon the Stallion says, I would love to be able to play Mario Party 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the go via Switch Online. That's what I knew. That's why you asked that Mario Party question, because you personally want all those Mario Party games. I can't fault you for that. Let's see here. 6 was linked to the past. Okay, yeah. That's probably where I put 6 because it was Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Breath of the Wild, Zelda 2, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening. A Link Between Worlds probably at 5, then A Link to the Past, then Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, blah blah blah. But again, my top 10 Zelda games, like, it changes. I thought about doing a response to Nintendo Life's top all-time ranking of Zelda games, only because that list that they made was made by one of my buddies that I worked with at Zelda Informer, Zion. I actually know him. He actually lives in Wisconsin too. So I thought about like refuting his video and being like, not so fast, my friend. You got it all wrong. Like, go over his rankings and be like, so at number 1, and then all of a sudden he says, oh, it's this. I'm like, no, you're wrong. But I don't know if I'll have time to get that video together. But it is something I wanted to do as kind of like a funny, jokey response to a friend of mine / someone who also works at Nintendo Life. I thought it might be a fun video to make. Let's see here. Be Righteous, thank you so much for doing some modding. Not that what Raiku-chan said was bad, but obviously, if you can't tell, this isn't a normal primetime stream, so we're not doing swearing and not doing that kind of stuff. Crispy Production says, not a question, but I agree with your thoughts on nostalgia. Thanks so much. Nate for president. The fault of nostalgia is you saying it's the greatest game ever, but they have no nostalgia, and they waste money. They're going to blame you. Ask me if I care. As an example, ask me if I care. Let's just say that I view that Secret of Mana, which is my second favorite game of all time, that I only think that because of nostalgia, right? Perfectly valid reason. I just said perfectly valid reason for me to rank it that way. Somebody buys that game because I tell them it is the greatest game ever made, or one of the greatest games ever made, I guess, since Breath of the Wild's number 1 for me now. So I tell them that's one of the greatest games ever made. And someone buys it off of my suggestion, and they end up not enjoying the game. Oh, well, why should I care? Doesn't change how I feel about it. When I say, like, what I feel about games, unless it's a game review, I'm not telling people if they should spend their money on it or not. If people ask my opinion and I give it and they buy something based off my opinion and then they have a different opinion of that thing they bought, that's life. That's life. It happens. I'm not going to feel bad that I had that opinion. Why should I care? I was being honest. You want me to lie? Yeah. It's different when it's a game review. Game reviews are a different thing. But if it's not a game review, then who cares? You have nostalgia for Breath of the Wild right now, says Daffy Duck. Nice. Be Righteous hitting us with the Eric dab. The Eric dab. Retro Cheat says, I'm nostalgic for garbage games, though. I would not recommend some of my nostalgia games like E.T. for Atari. It's such a bad game that it's awesome. You have some nostalgia for that, huh? I couldn't get into it because it was broken. But like some people have nostalgia for like Superman 64. So I mean, but your nostalgia might be different. Like there's nostalgia of like how much I really enjoyed that game, and then there's nostalgia for like how much me and my friends used to shit on that game back in the day. Like that's a different type of nostalgia, right? Like your fond memories of it are based on you and your friends like being excited for it and mocking it and whatever, like rather than the game being good. But who knows? I can't explain your nostalgia for E.T. for Atari. So or E.T. on the NES. Retro Cheat says, Nintendo can't put Batman, Willow, Maniac Mansion, and so many other third-party games. So many games would have been lost without physical and ROMs. They can if they have the contracts to do it. All they gotta do is contact the publishers and be like, hey, you want to be on our service? We'll give you an X% of the money. I know that's really dumb thing I'm saying. To paraphrase something from WoW, nostalgia is good until it is bad. Then it is worse than all the negative opinions combined. Sure. That's how you want to feel, Carl. Can't tell you how to feel, my man. Philip says, but it's already true. Many games have already been whisked out of existence. Not as many games as you think. Obviously, you know, the games that have been whisked out of existence people don't know about. So, but it's not as many games as you think have been whisked out of existence. There's actually a place that has that literally preserves video games. Just unfortunately, just because they're preserving the video games doesn't mean we get to play them. So there already is like a place that literally does video game preservation. But Game Pass is a good option to have. I like Xbox's Game Pass. I'm thinking about getting the 8-bit DOE stick and the DS4 controller because I've heard some motion controls work with it. Personal thoughts? They're both great. And yeah, the motion controls, I think, in the PlayStation DualShock 4 controller does work on Switch if you have the adapter. And the 8-bit DOE is, I've heard amazing things about, haven't used it myself. So I can't really speak about that one much. I think nostalgia is okay. The argument sometimes between someone who's never played an older game before and someone who loves it because they're nostalgic can be crazy, though. It can be. Here's the thing. Someone who's never played the game can't have an opinion on the game in terms of how good it is. The person who has played it obviously feels very strongly about it. So it's a really weird debate because you're having a debate between someone who loves this game, who played it to death, versus someone who's never played it and just look at videos of it and think it's garbage. So, like, it's a tough debate to have. It really is. Let's see here. I pre-ordered the Analog Megas SG to complement my Analog NT Mini and Analog Super NT. Does this make me a bad person? I want to be more open-minded and look at the Genesis. Nah, it's fine. You're not a bad person for that, Joe. I've never used any of those, but, I mean, you're not a bad person for it. Shout out, by the way, to TJ Graves, who subscribed 11 minutes ago. Sorry I missed that. Cool. I am officially caught up to the chat, I think. It's amazing. As a Pokemon fan, just look at the genuine Gen 1er. You're not one. Well, thanks for saying I'm not one. For an example of nostalgia gone bad, they hate any Pokemon game that's not a Gen 1 game simply because it's not Gen 1. I think that's a little different. As an example, Eric's a Gen 1er. Eric is a massive Gen 1er. But here's the thing. One, the Gen 1er name is just an insulting name. So insulting people is not a good way to start a conversation. So like me, like if I go to Eric, I'm like, you're a Gen 1er, like I'm insulting him. Because look what you're inferring. You're inferring you hate the other games because they're not Gen 1. That's not really the reason they hate the other games. That's an oversimplification of why Gen 1ers don't like other games that aren't Gen 1. A big reason is because they don't like the Pokemon designs, right? Like, you dig deeper into it. They don't like the Pokemon designs. They don't like some of the held item stuff. They don't like some of the new additions. There's a whole bunch of things they don't like that changed about Pokemon over the years. And they're not wrong for having that opinion. But then people get mad at them for having that opinion and just say, oh, you're a Gen 1 or nothing can be Gen 1. Like, just Gen 1 happens to be the perfect amalgamation of everything they like about Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with that. Literally nothing wrong with that. But then you call them a Gen 1er and it's an insulting name. When people call me a Gen 1er, it's not just that I'm not a Gen 1er by definition. It's that even if I was, I would hate to be called a Gen 1er. You're oversimplifying why I like Gen 1 more than most other gens of Pokemon. Like, you're just summarizing all of my reasons into I hate everything. I don't hate everything else. Most Gen 1ers don't hate the rest of the Pokemon series. They just don't like it as much as Gen 1. And I don't think it's a nostalgia thing either. If you go back and play Gen 1 of Pokemon, it's awesome. It's an awesome game. Still awesome. And it's really simplified compared to a lot of games today. And that's awesome. People like Pokemon being simplified. So why do you think so many people actually like Pokemon Let's Go? Not just because it's Gen 1, because it's also simplified. People like that. Some people hate it. But Retro Treats, I hate it. Again, they added too many Pokemon. It's the same game with more Pokemon. The ideas are so dumb. Gen 1's best. I mean, that's the thing. There's more specific reasons than just nothing can beat Gen 1. It's the pace at which Pokemon was added and blah, blah, like a lot of things. You know, not liking the Pokemon designs. That's a big one. I hear that one a lot. But people not liking the designs after Gen 1 or most of the designs. But anyways, doesn't really matter. All right, I think that's it. I think we caught up. I think we're good. I'm going to go spend some time with my fiance here. I think she just got done taking a bath, so. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been fun. It's been real. Let's give a shout out to all of those super chats and donations and stuff today. First off, I guess I'll give you the grand totals. We had $53.98 over 7 super chats. And then we had the 2401 from Joe over there through 2 donations. Let me hit up the individual donations and super chats here. Let me get to the proper view so I have all that stuff on screen. I will accept Let's Go 2 if they max out the Pokemon at 150 to 200. Nice. Yeah, Carl, what he said, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree with people, but it's like people don't like being called names. Being like insulting people for their desires. That's why people don't like the Gen 1er thing. Like, it's why people who prefer Gen 1 over all the other gens hate being called Gen 1ers. It's just like why people who fit in the millennial age hate being called millennials, because people usually call you a millennial as a term to insult you. Like, people don't want to be generalized and insulted like that. Anyways, Joe, I'm sorry, we had Ross Campbell hit us with the $1.99 super chat. Joe hit us with a $20.01 for our top donation of the night through donations. Thank you so much. Robert Smith hit us with a $20 super chat. Cody Shadley hit us with a $19.99 super chat. Robert Smith with a $4 super chat. We also had another $2 super chat from Robert Smith. $4 from Joe through donations. Robert Smith with a $3 super chat. And Matthew Campus got us all started tonight with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. You guys stay fresh. Sorry I didn't have a standalone video today, but there will be back tomorrow. Our podcast should be landing about, it might land a little early tomorrow. I'm thinking about 8 a.m. tomorrow. The podcast should be landing. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's a long one. That's why I'm doing it at 8. It's like an hour. It's 2 hours long. I'm just going to say it right now. The podcast is 2 hours long. So I hope you guys look forward to listening to that on your commutes to work or whatever tomorrow. Catch you guys later.